This is one of those only in Bali moments. I've been invited to join this group of Indonesian hikers to climb Gunung Catur. And I'm really honoured because I'm the only foreigner here. But I do have one question to ask everyone. Semuanya siap? Yeah. Today is a public holiday in Indonesia, and one thing you can be sure of is that if there's a public holiday, there will be a lot of people hiking the mountains in Indonesia. The elevation gain today is about 650 metres from the car park to the top, and at the top there is a thing called Pura Puncak Mangu, and apparently it overlooks Danau Bratan. You know that lake with the temple, Pura Ulun Danau Bratan? Well, this apparently looks over that lake. So if you've ever been to that temple before, you would have seen it from the other side, this mountain. You would have seen the view from that particular temple across the lake, and up the other side there's a big mountain. Well, that's this from the other side. So you hike it from the other side. So far the track's pretty good. I'm not sure how good it is all the way up, but at the moment it's got like some sort of paving, which is nice. Kak, dari mana aslinya?
Asli Denpasar.
Denpasar. Aku juga kota Denpasar, Sanur.
Oh iya?
Yeah. Dekat. Yeah. Pertama kali naik gunung atau sering?
Bukan sering juga.
Ya, tapi pernah. Kenapa suka hiking?
Karena suasananya.
Ya, dingin. Adem. Ya, sejuk. Udaranya bersih.
Betul.
Dari mana?
Dari Denpasar juga.
Denpasar juga?
Ya.
Semuanya dari Denpasar.
Kita anak Denpasar.
Ya.
Tak Kodia.
Kota Madya in Indonesian means a independent city. Before there was Kota Madya, everything was a kabupaten. So that's the district or the region actually. So now instead of having a bupati, you have a wali kota, which is like a mayor. And we keep going up and I'm out of breath already. But you'll notice I've got a new hat on. This is a Columbia hat, Columbia sportswear. And this gathering is actually a celebration of them opening their first Bali store. That's what we joined in. And that's a really common thing in Indonesia to do, is that brands will often have outings just to do brand awareness between their followers, their fans, and they'll just do free events like that. And you don't need to give much, give a bit of food or go on a hiking trip and give free transport. That's what generally happens. Kak, dari mana?
Aku dari Jawa.
Jawa
Tengah.
Kota mana?
Semarang.
Semarang. Yeah. Oh, kota atau Ambarawa atau?
Kota.
Kota. Di sana yang tourist attraction yang paling terkenal.
Lawang Sewu.
Lawang Sewu. Lawang Sewu is an old railway building that has 1,000 doors on it. They say it's a little bit haunted. It's a fantastic tourist attraction when you're in the city of Semarang. Dan kenapa ikut acara ini?
I live in Bali now for 7 years.
Yeah. Oh, 7 years?
Yeah, 7 years.
Di mana? Denpasar? Ya. Oh, kenapa pindah ke Bali dari Jawa? Kesempatan lebih bagus atau gimana?
Slow living.
Really? Aku juga pindah ke Bali karena lebih damai.
Lebih damai.
Yeah.
Lebih chill.
Lebih chill. There you go. Thank you very much for having a chat today.
Yeah.
This is Olive. Now she, dari mana?
Dari Jakarta.
Asli Jakarta, originally from Jakarta, and pindah ke Bali kapan?
It's been 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Kenapa pindah?
Because living here is much slower than Jakarta.
Exactly. I'm hearing that a lot now.
Have you been to Jakarta before?
Pernah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
I do. But it's not about work, it's about life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Kemacetan.
Yeah.
About just having...
Polusi, the weather.
That's a big one, pollution. Like Bali is quite unpolluted, yeah?
Yeah.
And what area do you work in now in Bali?
I'm working in production house.
Oh, okay. Like graphic design or film?
Making
Production
video,
house. Okay.
And photos for commercial thing.
Oh, nice. Kalau di Jakarta sama?
Di Jakarta, yeah.
Yeah. So was it easy to come here and get a job?
It's quite challenging, but yeah, I make it now.
You make it now?
Yeah.
That's excellent. Do you think more people from Jakarta will come to Bali?
Yeah.
I hear.
If they want to try the slow living thing
Yeah.
and just tired of working in Jakarta with such that environment.
And it's also long hours in Jakarta as well. You have to work late and everything as well,
Yeah.
like that. Your
Yeah.
expectation is quite high.
Yeah.
Wow. But is the gaji the same here?
Well, the gaji here it's more low,
Yes.
but it's worth with
The reduction.
with the reduction with the life that you had
Yeah.
now. Like
You know,
balance
yeah, yeah.
between work and life.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people who view this channel are foreigners who feel the same way.
Oh.
So they are sick of their life in somewhere like Australia because it's quite busy, they're stressed,
Yeah.
they want a slower life, and sometimes they will move to Bali for the same thing, to just slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need, as a foreigner, because you can't work here, you need to save your money first. So all you people at home, start saving money, because if you want to move to Bali, you can't work, like I live here.
But it's worth it living
Yeah.
and working here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Ali. Mau sembahyang ya, Bu. Yeah. So this is, people go to pray at the top of this mountain as well. And they have to carry all their things on their head. That's hard. That's real hard. Hello. Hello. So I was talking about my hat, and you'll notice that this is a different hat. Yeah, it's a Columbia hat. Prior to this, I was wearing another hat, which no one actually commented on over the maybe 100 videos I made with that hat on. And I find that a little bit interesting. I thought I'd at least get a few comments, because the theme of the previous hat is Camino de Santiago. Camino de Santiago. A lot of you will know it. You may not have seen the symbol, or you might have seen it and not really said anything. But the Camino is a long distance walk in Spain to the city of Santiago in Spain. And a lot of people do it for religious reasons. Catholics would do that. A lot of people do it for spiritual reasons, just general self help, or self, doing it for your own benefit. Some people do it for fitness. Some people just want to go and lose weight, build a bit of muscle, whatever it is. That walk usually is 780 kilometers long, but there are different directions you can do it from. You can start and finish anywhere you'd start anywhere you want. You normally finish in the city of Santiago in western Spain. Well, we've actually done that walk. We've been there 8 times to do that walk, and we're mega fans of the Camino de Santiago. And people of all ages can do it. We see people in their 70s quite often walking that. They take it slower, of course. They won't do 25 or 20 kilometers in a day. They might only do 15. You do as much as you can tolerate. Means you need a bit of time. Like for us, some of these trips can take over a month to do, but it's okay. Like your body does adapt. It really does. Things are getting steep here. So that's the story behind the hat as well. But that brings me to a broader point, which is that we do travel a lot, or historically have traveled a lot. Since we've been in Bali, we've traveled a little bit as well. We've been to Japan at least a couple of times. Since we've lived in Bali, we've been to Nepal. We've been to a few other places as well that I haven't really recorded. I've been to Australia probably, 5 times. And I don't really sort of talk about that too much, but I think it's important to know that Bali can be a base for travel. So when you live here, you can use this then as a base to go and travel to other places in Asia or even Europe. It cuts out a lot of the flight times from Australia, unless you live in Perth, in which case it's probably the same. Which then leads me into the next trip I have planned. The next trip I have planned is to Central Asia, the Silk Road. I'll be going there in a couple of days' time. So the next videos you see will be from me in front of some big palace or something in one of these countries. Now, I haven't done my research, which is okay, because usually things work out. You roll up and you find the adventure, and that's our plan for this trip. It's getting steep now. A couple of the other treks that we've done internationally are the Michinoku Coastal Trail in Japan, a 1,000-kilometer trail along Japan's northeastern coast where the tsunami hit in 2011, and what the government has done there is created a through hike of 1,000 kilometres along that coast to reinvigorate the little towns and fishing villages along that trail. That is incredible. We haven't completed it yet. We're doing that in stages, sort of like 150 kilometres at a time. The other one we've done is in Japan as well. It's called the Kumano Kodo. 4 days for the main trip, and that's through the mountains outside of Osaka. Like, it's really mountainous, probably more mountainous than this, but it looks similar to this sort of scenery, very similar. And that trek is amazing as well, along an old pilgrimage route that was taken by samurai and the general population as well, built by a king like 1,000 years ago. It's brilliant, that one. If you like hiking, highly recommend that. And because it's only 4 days, you can get in and out pretty quickly. You don't have to sort of reserve a month or something to do it. Kalian dari mana?
Dari negara.
Negara?
Ya.
Sampai ke sini kapan?
Dari kos tadi.
Oh,
Dari Denpasar.
dari Denpasar. Tapi asli negara.
Negara.
Wow, di kota?
Ya, kota. Enggak di desa.
Di desa, dalam? Atau di pantai atau di mana?
Di pantai.
Oh, bagus. Daerah itu, negara, if you don't know, is far west of Bali. Dan kalian kuliah atau sekolah atau kerja atau kerja. Sebagai apa?
Waiter
Waiter, di mana? Di Denpasar atau di mana?
di Seminyak.
Semi? Oh, waiter. Bagus banget. Oke, mari ya.
Semangat.
Ya, makasih. We have some waiters who work in Seminyak. That's interesting, isn't it? They're originally from Negara, which is, well, that's the big city out there in the west, part of the Jembrana Regency. One thing that often happens, I might put my hat back on. It's a bit sweaty at the moment, but I might put my hat back on so I don't have to hold on to so much stuff. But one of the interesting things about when you ask people where they're from here, especially in Bali, but all around Indonesia, they don't really know if you know what they're talking about. So they're more likely to give a broad statement about where they live. For example, someone might say, if I say, where are you from? They might say, for example, Gianyar. Now, Gianyar is a city, but it's also a regency, which is really large. So if someone says Gianyar, you don't really know if they're coming from the city or the area around it. The same with, there's a lot of them, like you'll hear it often with Tabanan. Tabanan is such a massive regency that can take many hours to get from one end to the other. If someone says Tabanan, you don't know if they mean from the city of Tabanan or if they're really talking about maybe up in the bush somewhere that no one really knows about. So I always ask, just get a better feel for what it is they're coming from, whether they're coming from the city or the little countryside, those guys from beachside village out there. Because this is also a religious pilgrimage for Hindus, there are a lot of these chanangsari around, and the smell in the air is one of very fragrant incense sticks. It's beautiful. The other thing about this particular trek that I'm noticing is that everyone is so friendly, just so friendly. Everyone's sort of giving each other encouragement along the way. So if I pass someone who's stopped, or if I've stopped and someone passes me, we'll each give each other a little bit of encouragement by saying the word semangat. Semangat is it's an interesting word. It's no direct translation in English, but you say it to someone to encourage them. Don't stop. Semangat. Keep your spirits up. It's one of those rah, rah, rah words. And you can use it in a lot of different contexts and for a lot of different reasons. But definitely on something where you're doing something difficult, you can really give people encouragement by saying, semangat. Especially, you could even say it like, say if there was a waitress that was having a bad day and she's like, oh, I'm over this. You could say, semangat, keep your head up, you'll be right, you know? Yeah, and so I'm feeling a lot of that. It's very, very warm. It's not just because I'm a foreigner. People are doing it to one another as well. It's really just a good feeling. One of the cardinal sins in Western culture when you go hiking in nature, you want silence. You don't want people shouting and screaming. And I'm not saying there's a lot of that here, but it's a little bit more animated because people are in bigger groups here. But also people are more likely to play music as they walk. Now, I know that's a cardinal sin in the West, but in many parts of the world, that's just normal. And understanding there's different cultures that do different things is really important, especially because no one way is right. One of the things I learned when I was at language school back in Java over 10 years ago, it wasn't just about language, it's about learning culture, because language and culture are intermingled. You don't just learn the words, you've got to learn the meaning behind them and why people say certain things in different ways at different times. Some of that's to do with the way people behave and the things they do. And when people do different things in different countries, it's not better or worse, it's just different. It's a cultural thing. Now, a good example of that we say is worse when we look at it from the Western perspective is people throwing rubbish around the place. That's a cultural thing. Now, of course, you can say littering is a very bad thing to do. I think everyone universally can agree to that. But if you look at where that culture comes from, going back 100, 200 years, it wasn't that long ago, maybe only 30 years, that people were buying snacks in banana leaves. And if you threw a banana leaf in the ocean or on the side of the road, it breaks down in a couple of days or a few days or a week, and it's not a big deal. But when society modernises and you replace natural products with plastic, that becomes a problem, and culture needs to change, to adapt, and that sort of stuff. And Indonesia is going through that process now. There's a recognition that littering is a bad cultural thing, and they're trying to work on it. But it doesn't mean that they are bad for doing that. It's just a cultural thing that needs to be adjusted. That's sort of the way I look at it, rather than sort of criticising people.
Hai.
Woo! Dari mana kalian?
Dari Singaraja.
Singaraja, tapi jauh dari sini Singaraja.
Jauh.
Berapa lama ke sini?
1 jam.
1 jam. Oh, so lumayan cepat juga. Oke, dari kota?
Ya.
Ya, oke. See you. Yeah, semangat kalian. Yeah. Okay, so a bit of a semangat there. I thought Singaraja was quite a long way away, but they're saying it's only an hour. That's actually quicker than getting here from Sanur, which is interesting. There's actually been a few people from Singaraja so far. I guess it's just nick across the mountain. You come from sea level at Singaraja, go up to about 1,600 metres across the back of the lake over there, probably zip around the side. No, that's interesting, that's only an hour. They looked very young though, didn't they? How old were they? I was about to say, where's your mum and dad? I don't know. Sometimes I can't judge Indonesian people's ages because they seem to not age at all. So, you know, you think someone might be like 14 years old and they say, no, I'm 22. It's like, oh, sorry. So sometimes really difficult. I don't know how old they were. But this first temple is a temple which you're allowed to enter, apparently. And they're, yeah, look at all those Janang Sari there. That's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful.
Mantap, mantap.
Kalian turun?
Ya.
Berapa jauh lagi ke atas?
15 menit.
Oh, gampang lah. Oh.
Semangat.
Dari mana? Dari mana kalian?
Dari
Denpasar.
pasar semua.
Aku juga. Ya.
Pasar mana?
Selatan. Sana. Sama.
Sanur.
Sanur. Oke, mari ya. Ya, makasih ya. Oke, ya, makasih. Semangat kalian juga turunnya. Ya, yo. So friendly. Oh, jatuh. Sini, copot ini.
Oke, terima kasih.
Yeah, okay. Kota Denpasar is like, there are 7 regencies in Indonesia, in Bali. Denpasar is one, and then you split each one up into what they call kecamatan. So you split each of them up. I think there's 4 kecamatan in Denpasar. You have, I can't remember, but I think it's something like southeast, north and west. And then you break them up again into smaller components called kelurahan. So in Sanur, we are part of Denpasar Selatan. You can break that down even further. This last section they're telling us is 15 minutes up, but it's all of a sudden gotten really steep, so it's straight up. Really just incredibly steep. You can see there the steps have given way to mud, and I reckon in the wet season this could be a nightmare. Luckily we've got a very, very sunny day today, but we couldn't be too far off if they're saying 15 minutes. And just when you thought it was already steep, it gets steeper again as you're getting closer to the summit. It's just going straight up now. At least there's stairs. Stairs make it easier, but gee, It's hard going, really hard going. Heart rate 150s. My fitness just isn't there at the moment. Susan's is though. Susan's so much fitter than me at the moment. She's only got 130 heart rate doing the same exercise because she's been exercising a lot recently while I've had my calf injury. Makes a massive difference if you've got some base fitness coming on a trek like this. Here I am struggling and a guy's just run past, literally run past in thongs. Wouldn't believe it, there's a dog up here, look at this. So far up as well, so far. Hello, what's your name? Very cute too, look at that one. It's flattened out a little bit up here. And I can see, we must be able to ridge or something like that because I can see a bit of blue sky over there, which is promising, but I hope there's not like a ridge going up that way. Now, because Susan's so fit, she's been waiting for me. And she says, puncak, 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 which means the peak. Woo! And this is the puncak. Woo! Puji Tuhan! These guys got a little stove, look at that. Indomie, pop me, wow. And the view, oh wow. That is one of the best views. My watch says that we've been walking for 2.5 hours and the elevation gain is 700 meters. It's been pretty brutal. I'm just a bit off on my fitness, especially that endurance fitness. I'm way off. I haven't been doing any long runs. Susan's been doing, 10K, 12K, 13K runs, and she's really built up a good level of fitness. And for her, even though it's difficult, she could power on through. I was really struggling at points of that climb there. So just take that into account if you ever decide to come to a place like this. You're going to need to take it real slow unless you're quite fit. But it's totally doable. The way to get up here is easy. You don't need a guide. There's no entrance fee. You might need to pay a bit of money for parking to the lady below. This guy's brought a German Shepherd up. Wow, there's a bunch of monkeys up here running amok as well, stealing people's food, because a lot of people are up here having picnics. The monkeys are just raiding. You hear screams every now and then, just raiding people's stashes. It's pretty funny. You just got to be a little bit careful, that's all. Hi guys.
At the top of Catur.
Yeah, Gunung Catur. Yeah. A pretty good vibe up here as well. Like Susan was saying when we were on our way up, the vibe at a place like this is so positive. It feels really good. Everyone's happy. There's not any sort of crazy nasty people or anything like that. Everyone's just so nice. It's really good. The temple at the top is pretty good as well. Very beautiful. So the views from up here are amazing. That there is Danau Buyan, that lake there. Around the back of it, you can't really see it. Around there, there's Danau Tamblingan. And then this is Danau Bratan. Danau Bratan's that big lake that you see when you're going to the main tourist temple up in Bedugul. Bedugul's this area. And then, so that's about, I think 1,600, 1,500 meters above sea level over there. And then to get to Lovina, you actually come that side of the lake and then go over the top, and then you're into Lovina, Singaraja, the north coast of Bali. Now, we can see so far into the distance that there are some volcanoes visible over there that are in Java. I don't know what the name of those volcanoes is, but those volcanoes are in Java and they are a long, long way away. One thing is for certain that those volcanoes, there's a sort of a complex of volcanoes in East Java. Around there is a place called Kawah Ijen. Kawah is crater, so there's Ijen crater over there, is where a lot of people go. A lot of foreign tourists go for hiking because you can see the sulfur mining that goes on there, and sometimes they'll light the sulfur on fire and you get this blue fire happening during the night. That's over in that direction, so that's the western view. So the ocean is over that way. The views from up here are just so incredible that it's well worth the trek for me, but that doesn't sort of undersell how hard this really is. It is brutal climbing that mountain. Even with a good level of fitness, it's going to be quite a challenge. If you like trekking, like climbing mountains, definitely come up here because that view is spectacular, absolutely spectacular. It's been great talking to all my new Indonesian friends today along the path. It's been fantastic finding out their stories, where they're from, how long it took them to get here. People are coming from all over the place, and because it's a public holiday, that's why it's so busy today. It's a Friday public holiday. If you come on a normal Friday, there'd be hardly on here, I reckon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia, and a little bit of the Silk Road, which is coming up. I'll catch you next time. Sampai jumpa.